welcome to Bourbon and a Baby. I'm Jay. Max will not be with us today because he is not old enough to be reviewing bourbons just yet. But I have a special bourbon in store for us today to review, and that is Henry McKenna 10-year-old Bottled-in-Bond. This product has been quite the darling of the bourbon community for the past year to 2 years, really. Because it used to be considered one of bourbon's best kept secrets. You could always find it on the shelf. It ranged in price from $28 to $34 generally. It's 10 years old. It's bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof, and it's a really good product. And like I said, it was readily available and fairly cheap by most standards, especially for a 10-year-old bourbon. But in 2018, it won Best Bourbon and Best Single Barrel Bourbon at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. So that kind of put it on the map to the entire community, not just the tight-knit bourbon community. And then this year, in 2019, it won Best in Show, which is only the second time that a bourbon has won Best in Show at that competition. So that was a pretty big deal. And now it's still coming in around the same price range, at least from what I've seen at retail. So I think my wife actually bought this bottle for me for Christmas this past year. And I want to say it was around $34, $35. Somewhere in there, so still relatively a good price. I have been seeing it float around on some secondary sales right now, going at around $100 or so, which I think is crazy, but what are you gonna do? And it's definitely not so easy to find on the shelf anymore, because people know about it now and they're buying it up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if they keep it at the same price range, or if they start to bump that price up because it's been so so coveted lately. So all right, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. I'm gonna take this off here. Now this is made by Heaven Hill. You can see my hat here, Heaven Hill. I'm kind of a fan of their products, just a little bit. They also make the Evan Williams line, Larceny, Old Fitz. They make JTS Brown, JW Dant. They make the Elijah Craig products. All of that. So they make a lot of stuff there at Heaven Hill. They're doing great things there at Heaven Hill as well. So let's go ahead and give this a pour. A little bit about this specific bottle. So this is a single barrel. So they do tell you that it was barreled on, this one was 8408, so 2008, barrel number 5451. So what were you doing in 2008? This was just being put in the barrel. There we go. The mash bill on this is I'm gonna look at my notes. The mash bill on this is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. So if you happen to tune into my first bourbon review, which was of New Riff Bottled in Bond, another Bottled in Bond product, but New Riff was a high rye bourbon. So this would be considered a more standard bourbon mash bill with a low rye content coming in at 10%. And this is Heaven Hill's standard mash bill for their rye bourbons. So if you pick up a bottle of Elijah Craig, same mash bill. If If you pick up a bottle of any of the baseline Heaven Hill products, Heaven Hill White Label, Heaven Hill 6-year green label 90 proof, the same mash bill as this. All of the Evan Williams line, all going to be the same mash bill. So you're going to find some similarities in that. But again, this is a 10-year-old bourbon. So the complexities that come from that extra time spent in the barrel is what really makes this shine. So let's go ahead and give this a nose. Okay, so right off the bat, I get a little bit of the ethanol, but that fades after you kind of, you know, take that second sniff. And then it's really sweet, like really getting those traditional bourbon aromas. I'm smelling the caramel. I'm smelling the vanilla. I'm picking up some of the oak from the barrel. And I'm getting just a hint of some of the spice from the rye, just a hair, just a tiny little bit, just a little bit of cinnamon, but mostly just kind of a real sweet profile. It smells amazing. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. I always like to go in for a second sip before I really start to try to pick things out. I did not, before this filming, I did not kind of have a control bourbon. So I want to make sure that, that I get a good sip, and now I can go back and pick up some of the complexities here. I like it. Again, this is one that the nose is really shining through and staying consistent with the palate. I'm getting a real heavy caramel with a little vanilla undertones. I can taste that oak, kind of that oaky flavor that you get from being a 10-year-old product. Just a hint of the char, but not much. It's got, I'd say, I wouldn't call the finish to be really long, but I'd say it's medium to medium long. So it kind of sticks around a little bit. And for being 100 proof, this is one that doesn't taste hot. You know, it doesn't taste like I'm drinking 100 proof bourbon here. If you gave this to me blind, I would guess that it would be more in the 90 proof range. I'm getting a little bit more of the spice this time around. That rye is starting to come through a little bit, poke its head out. A little bit of brown sugar as well. But overall, this is a really, real heavy on the sweet bourbon flavor. So, which is what really brings me into bourbon because I really like those sweet flavor profiles. So this is one that's right up my alley. Like I said, heavy caramel, vanilla undertones, get a little bit of the rye spice, not too much, but enough to let you know it's there. You definitely taste that oak with a little bit of char. Just a really quality product. I am a little bit surprised how much the popularity of this has soared, because like I said, this is a great product, and especially at the price, there really isn't a better buy if you can pick this up for, you know, $30 to $35. Do it all day long. It's a great value, but I don't think it's not something that I would want to pay $100 for, or even I wouldn't want to pay more than, I would say, $45 for this. And again, that's not saying anything bad about this whatsoever. It's a fantastic product, but it's not the most complex bourbon I've ever tasted, to be honest. And that's fine. That's not its intention. It's what it does is that sweet flavors, that caramel and vanilla is, it makes sure that that's prominent, and that's what you taste, and that's how the finish stays, and that stays with you. So like I said, it's I wouldn't want to say it's one note, but it is more kind of, that's what it's meant to be, and that's what it is. You're not getting a whole lot of surprises out of this. So so usually your more complex bourbons that are throwing a lot of different notes at you, those are the ones that win those competitions. So again, a little surprised with how much this has kind of blown up in the last year and a half, but at the same time I get it. It's great, it's amazing. And again, just to reiterate, if you can get this on the shelf for $30 to $35, buy it all day long. Now, you don't necessarily need to buy like 10 bottles of it. Don't be a hoarder, unless you know you're gonna drink them all or share them with your friends. Then obviously that's cool. But yeah, definitely if I'm at the store and I see this, I'm gonna buy it, at least once I get maybe this halfway down, because this is something I'd like to have on hand as much as possible. So again, cheers, thanks for watching.